Hello, everyone, and welcome to my summit guide on the Spy Thriller Summit. In this summit, you're going to need the Aston Martin DB23, you're going to need the Land Rover Defender, and you're going to need the brand new Triumph bike. All right, let's get into it. All right, so for the rewards this summit, you're going to be getting a 100,000 XP, 100,000 silver, and Jaguar D-Type and a tire. Very nice. All right, let's get into our first event. For this first event, you're going to be using the Triumph Rocket 3R, the Demon, uh, whatever you call it, a boat, a power boat, and Alpha Jet. All right, so you're going to be starting out with, as I said, the Triumph. You're going to be revving when it says 2, and here we go. So your goal is to try to keep the bike as under control as possible. It's not really about as much speed. It's more about keeping the bike under control because it is a bike, and bikes in this game do not turn like in real life. So the important thing is just to control your speed and get through the town safely and without wrecking. So here you're going to see you can take this turn a little bit more with a little bit more speed, but I wouldn't risk it. Just be careful around that turn at 7 to 8%. All right, then you have a jump at 11%. Make sure you don't go too high because you will overshoot that very easily. Same thing with 13. Here we come to our next jump on 15. Make sure you don't go too high, as you will crash into one of the highways. So be very careful there. And then at 19%, you're going to switch into the boat. This boat is actually pretty good, so it's nice to be able to use it. The pro tip here is to cut towards the right, like so, and do it again. That way you get the most time. You can hit the buoy, it doesn't matter. If just try to keep as much as you can. During this entire time, you should be pulling back on your joystick if you're on controller. If you're on PC, I'm not really sure what the control is, but that way you get full throttle. So look up throttle under your controls and it should show it if you have different controls than stock. Same thing here, we're going to be cutting the buoys again. I'm going to lean more towards the right here, cut this buoy, and then I'm going to cut this one too, as you don't need to go towards the left. This just saves you time and helps you get a better score. Alright, then at the end, you want to kind of blast your NOS a little bit, keep around 180. I wouldn't blast it too hard like I do. I thought the NOS recharged. It doesn't, so just keep your NOS within the buoy the entire time because you no longer get a filled up nitrous canister. Alright, so finally for the Alpha Jet, you're going to be cutting as much as you can within reason towards the left. That way you can get a faster line. And yeah, you're just kind of cutting as much as you can. That way you get faster. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much the event. You're just going to do it for the rest of the event. Alright, let's move on. Alright, for your next event is going to be who turned off the GPS? Or the GPS is dead. You're going to be using the Aston Martin DBS. This car is actually pretty good. Make sure you switch your perf parts because this vehicle is not loaned. It is a vehicle that is within your own collection. That's why at the start of the Summit Guide I talked about it. So make sure you get your perf parts. As you can see, I have not used my nitrous chemist in a very long time. Alright, so with this event, it is very important to make sure that you are taking the lines correctly. Try to take the lines as wide as you possibly can, but don't go off the road or into some kind of wall. So you're revving at 2, and here we go. You're going to be quickly shifting gears because this thing has very, very short gear ratio. And yeah, you can see how I took that first turn like that. 6. That's kind of how you want to take every turn. But make sure you don't turn it too much, as you will see later on in the video. Alright, so this is just a straight, so you keep going down the straight. Then up here near the windmills, you're going to have wind turbines. You're going to have a turn right here. It will sneak up on you. Make sure you downshift. That way you can make the turn here in good style. Then around this corner, you're going to have another wide turn. This is what I'm talking about. It has a lot of wide turns. You want to use as much as you want to go as fast as possible around the turn, but not so much that you go flying off the road, and not so much that you stay towards the middle of the road. You kind of want to have that median between each other where you just barely miss it. Then this one is very, very tricky, where you have that turn right there. You want to downshift right when you make that, go around that turn. Alright, so then you have to go to the left of this cabin, I guess. And yeah, there's not really any cuts here. It's just pretty much driving down the road, just following the GPS. There might be some kind of cheese way. I'm sure someone will figure out. But as for this will get you a platinum score very easily. And yeah. So you pretty much from here on out, you just follow the directions. But yeah, those were the ones that I wanted to point out because they are kind of tricky. Alright, let's move on. Alright, for your next one, you're going to be using the Triumph. And make sure you swap your perf parts. And don't be like me and just immediately start the event without switching up your perf parts. That is not a good idea. So with this one, you want to use your nitrous chemist that you use for the other event. That way you get the most speed, because this is a Streeter 2 car. A Streeter 2 bike, I guess. So you want to switch those in once you find them. I actually put in the wrong parts. So you actually probably could get a better score than I did because I didn't swap in the right parts. I just noticed that. Alright, so anyway, you're revving it too, and let's begin. So with this one, it's that Hollywood playlist. So it's all about the jumps. And it doesn't matter about hitting these pink areas, because these pink areas are not really that big of a deal, and honestly they're just kind of a gimmick that you shouldn't really have to worry about. The important thing here is to maintain your speed and try to get through as much as possible. If you see the pink thing and you're almost out of time, hit them, but if you're not, just stay out of their way. Here you just want to keep on the ground as much as possible. Don't do as many jumps unless you have a lot of nitrous, because the aeronauts with this thing is pretty good. So if you're high nitrous, you want to jump. If you are low nitrous, stay as close to the ground as you possibly can, unless there's like a lot of debris and you don't want to wreck. So that's my idea here. It's just driving safely around this areas. There is a couple of cuts up here that I didn't point out in the first lap. The first cut is here. You want to cut as much to the right. You can cut that more actually, and get slightly more inward on that turn. And then there is a cut up here towards the end. We'll get to it. Yeah, be careful with that jump too. You can jump up at the checkpoint and that it not register. Right here, there is a cut. You can cut all the way to the right, and it'll put you right back on the road. And then there's one final cut right here where you cut in between the trees, or right outside the tree. But yeah, those are the cuts. You just do it again and again. The map changes a little bit, but the general consensus stays the same. All right, let's move on. All right, so for your next one, this one's really fun. Since this is one of the Chase the Street Rider ones, you're going to be using the Ivory Tower Azing, and let's begin. So here you're going to be going down the I don't think this is the sewer, right? I don't know what this is. You're going to be racing down this long corridor. And what you want to do is you want to kind of just ignore him for the longest time. Just get in front of him and just run all the way down here. You can turn around and try this, This is not the play though. I'm just gonna skip ahead. The play is actually all the way at around 1 minute where you get to this highway. What you want to do is you want to get in front of him, if you haven't already, and get all the way down the highway and then come back around. So once you get on this highway, this is where you want to strike, because this is the best way, because he will just stay on the highway for like 2 miles. So you have a lot of time. But you don't want to go too far, as the evasion timer will start. But definitely go far enough to get the evasion timer going, because this car takes forever to start. And as you can see, look at how many points we got. We got 283,000 points from that one hit. So it's very important that you do this again and again and again, as many times as you can. Now, if he gets towards the end, just bang him. But if you can wait, you'll have to retry, as you can see here. But over time, you'll get it down. It's just trial and error. And sometimes the AI did stuff like that, like driving through fields and stuff like that. So you just have to wait till they get out of the field. But anyway, that's how you get max points. I actually got almost max points on this event. So if you just do that, it's a pretty easy win. But the key is getting on this highway. You can also do it in the I'm gonna call it the sewer system, but it's harder because you have to turn around within these steep hills, and that's not ideal. So I would highly suggest to do it just on my way, on the highway, since it's the most convenient and easiest process and gets you the most points, because you don't have to deal with as much junk. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so finally we come to our 5th event, and this one is going to be, you're going to be using the DB5, and you're going to be using the Rocket R. So with this one, your goal is to basically control the car again, because you're going to be doing a lot of stunts. So you don't need to do the stunts, but basically you're going to be forced to. So when you come up to here, you have unlimited nitrous on this event. That is the key thing. You have unlimited nitrous. So if you're ever in a predicament, like that corner for example, you get stopped, well, you can get right up, back up to speed, but you don't want to use it too much, as you'll just go flying across the map. So be very careful with it. Use it when you can. For example, like there, don't go flying. Yeah, that's what I mean. Don't go flying into people like that. It's very easy to do that. But it's also very easy to get back up to speed, so it's a pretty cool event. I like it. I think it's a really cool take on the event. But anyway, that's nonetheless. So here, you're just trying to control the car as much as you can. There was a little cut there at, I think, 18%, 17, 18%. So be careful of that one. Then you can cut a little bit there on 20%. Here, you want a wall bang on 24%. And then keep coming towards that way. And then drift around this corner. Then you're going to have this edge right here. Be careful. You can just hit that and you'll be fine. You can kind of slow down. I would just kind of slow down there, because it is a little bit difficult to navigate. So yeah, just 50-50 there. Then you've got over this way, you want to cut across at 34%, and then you have this golf course area. You kind of just want to stay on the road more, because the car gets way too wiggly off-road, so be careful. Also, be careful of that. That bridge will attack you, and I cannot believe that tree saved me. How did this make into my recording? I have no idea. But, yeah. So you just want to control that nitrous. Then there's a really key cut that we're doing right here at 44%. So you can cut in between the buildings. That saves a lot of time, and is kind of the reason I got a really high score with this one. So yeah, definitely use that. That will save you a lot of time. And then you cut across here, get on the highway, and you're going to transfer into the Rocket R. The Rocket R, you just want to go full nitrous, because it's all highway. and then from there you'll be fine. So yeah, just straight highway, and then control your speed when coming around the corner. All right, let's move on. Okay, so for our next event, you're going to be using the Land Rover Defender. First coming out, you want to get away from the AI, and then you want to just control your speed coming out of that first corner. And then you want to turn to the right, go down through here. And then you've got these solar panels that you can jump off. So you want to jump more to the left, and then kind of control your speed and try to keep the car straight. That way you can just go straight through, and you don't have to jump down, hit walls, and stuff like that. So be very careful there. Nitrous can get out of hand. This thing has really strong nitrous, so definitely use it in the air, but be careful as you can wall bang a lot with this car. So, yeah, just be careful. Then you got this little area to the left here on 47 seconds. And then you're going to make this jump. Use your NOS. And yeah, just be careful though, because you can't overshoot it. So just fair warning. Same thing with other events. Then you've got this turn right here. Be careful. And then you want to just go full nitrous here. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at my nitrous gauge. So you don't want to hit that, but you want to go full nitrous. And then I would downshift on this one. Make sure that you don't go flying. And miss the checkpoint. But yeah, and then control your speed coming out of this turn. Turn over to the left. And then turn back to the left, like so. And then you want to just nitrous this area as you jump over. That'll get you up to like 170. And then you want full brake. And you want to do that again. And that's the event. Alright, let's move on. So for the final few events, they're all going to be feats. There are 2 bullseyes and 1 long jump. Beginning with the long jump, what you want to be in is you want to probably be in your either your Alpha GP or the hypercar. It's really your choice, so it's up to you. Once you pick whatever one you want, get in it and start doing the event. It doesn't matter about backing up because the first one is right in front of you, so, and you have to turn, so it doesn't really matter about speed. I wouldn't use the boat for this one. I would actually use the Red Bull bike. I would use that because that is faster. So use that instead. But yeah, you just go through the hoops, and that's pretty much it. Then you're gonna switch back to land. Make sure you have both of these on fast favorites, and yeah, and just keep hitting the little objectives, and you'll be good. Make sure you have score breaker on all of your cars, and you'll get max score. All right, let's move on. All right, so for your fifth, for your second to last feat, you're gonna have a long jump. Long jumps, as I've talked about in previous summits, they're based upon score. So score breaker set is your best bet. If you have a score breaker set, you're guaranteed max score. So just get in your score breaker, whatever car you have score breaker with, and just send it off the mountain. And as you'll see here, I just drive down here. I don't even care. I just go up here, send my car flying across, and I get max score, just like that. And if you don't know what max score is, it is 157,850 points. That is max score in the game. And finally, for your final feat, what you want to be using is you want to be using the Bugatti Cintadeci for this. Go into each one of the hoops. I'll just let it play out. And yeah, and then you want to have your plane on fast favorite from previously. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll just let this feat play out, and then we'll get on to the results. All right, so that's the summit, the Spy Thrower Summit. I thought this one was pretty clever. Overall, it was fun. It literally only took me 2 tries to master. If I really would have tried, I might could have gotten like top 400, top 300. It was a really fun summit, and I personally am glad that they're doing so many great summits recently. Thank you, Ubisoft and Ivory Tower for listening. Finally, um, I love all the events. The only thing I will have a complaint is where was the slalom? We needed the slalom, but we didn't get it. So, yeah. But anyway, there's my scores. I ranked top 500 overall world. Have 17,000 players. Pretty cool. And you know what? I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.